Welcome, everybody. September the 6th, 2016, we got a public hearing. Bruce?
Thank you, Mayor. We do have two items on the public hearing agenda for tonight. The legal advertisement was published in the Daily News Journal on Thursday, August 11th, 2016, so the notice is proper. The two items on the agenda tonight, we'll start with number one, ordinance 2016-08, an ordinance to amend the City of Laverne zoning ordinance by changing the official zoning map for tax map 14, parcel 40, consisting of 9.19 acres, located along Sand Hill Road near the intersection of Fergus Road, from an R2 medium density residential zoning district to a PDR planned density residential zoning district with R2 medium density residential zoning and C3 neighborhood service commercial zoning. If anyone is here that would like to speak on this specific ordinance, this is your opportunity to approach the podium and make whatever comments you'd like about this ordinance. Once again, this is a public hearing for ordinance 2016-08, a rezoning request for 9.19 acres along Sand Hill Road near the intersection of Fergus Road. Sir, if you would state your name and address for the record.
My name is Clyde Herford. I live at 518 Sand Hill Road. Been there for nearly 40 years, so over. So the only question I have, and actually a couple, well, two, is exactly what is planned to be built there? I understand it's going to be residential, zoning commercial, and
Let's see. Glenn, if you'll go to page 10 of the packets, put that up on the screen, that shows the master plan for that property. And I'm not the best person to explain it. Kyle, you might be able to explain it better than I can.
You'll zoom out a little. Basically, what they're planning is up against Sand Hill Road.
mm-hmm.
They want to do some.
Can you point that out with your mouse?
See, I don't have anything to point it out with. Scroll back up, man. Yeah. See that red?
Yes.
And then across the street from it, there's like 3 units.
Uh-huh.
I think those were at this point what's proposed is kind of like a live work unit there, and then the red is like a commercial use that would fit in a C3 zone. There's a list, I don't have it in front of me, of what all could fit in the C3, and then all the yellow tracks. Scroll down, Glenn, if you'll go down. Is proposed to be residential, and then of course the green that's going around it is going to be open space. That's what's being presented right now.
So the red is that C2, correct?
C3.
C3?
I believe.
And so, but it doesn't say what you're going to put there? You have an idea?
Whatever can fit in a C3 zone.
Can somebody clarify that for me?
You have this.
I don't have the list with me. We can't control specifics as far as what goes there, as long as whatever fits in that zoning district for the C3, which is your neighborhood service.
So it could be
zoning.
anything. I mean,
Well, like the Dollar General that backs up to it, that is
Right.
a C3 zoning district as
Yeah.
well.
so you have no idea. So you could put
Anything
You
that
know,
fits in that zoning district, he could put in there.
adult thing in there of some sort.
No, that would not be
fit in a
allowed in a
C3.
C3, no.
Did he not specify what, when he proposed it? Any idea what he planned on doing?
I don't know.
And let me ask one other question. If anybody has ever walked Sand Hill Road, you can't walk Sand Hill Road, can you? And that's because there's no sidewalks. And now children are endangered. I mean, they're walking in my yard, and they're walking in the yard across, making ruts down the road. Now you're going to increase that with this, whatever it's going to be, which you don't know what it's going to be. It could be anything. So now you're asking residents to accept something that you have no idea what it's going to be. Does that make sense? Is that logical to me? I mean, am I being crazy here? I mean, I've been here all my life. I really don't mind this, but I'd like to know what it is before I want my family to be next to it. So, and now it's, that corner is incredibly busy, and it's incredibly dangerous for people even driving. I don't think people looked at this very, very clearly. So that's my statement.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else that would like to speak regarding ordinance 2016-08? Please state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is William Turner, 206 Sue Ellen Drive. I manage the manufactured home community that's directly across the street from this. So my concern is this going to be single-family homes, or is this multifamily, or any type of subsidies or anything of that nature?
Well, it's my understanding the R2 portion that is behind the commercial up front is R2 zoning, so that would be
Okay.
single-family home.
Okay, and my concern is the same as his with the sidewalks. I mean, I have almost 500 home sites in my community, and most of the business at the Dollar General probably comes from my community, with people walking along the road there. So with more business or more commercial property being added there, I'd be really concerned about the safety of my residents and our neighbors of being able to safely, get to these businesses. So that would be my only objection, is to, make sure that there was some type of plan in place for some sidewalks. And that's all that I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on this item? Please state your name and address for the record, please.
I'm Danny Womble, 40 Middleton Street, Nashville, Tennessee. I'm the engineer for the owner on this piece of property. So I just wanted to make a couple of brief comments. We are proposing to build a sidewalk along the front of this tract of property along Sand Hill Road. The sidewalk would be the entire frontage of this tract, and then it would tie into the Dollar General property. As far as the uses, it's the C3 zoning for the proposed commercial building that's red on the site plan. You're correct, it would be any uses that are permitted in the C3 zoning. That C3 zoning is for retail businesses which supply commodities to the community where it's located in. So this could be a beauty parlor, a barber shop, laundry facilities, repair shop for like radio, TV, shoes, personal service type related businesses. It could also be a grocery that has dairy products, meats, baked goods, other foods, things of that nature, and that's just straight out of the zoning regulation. As to exactly what's going to go there, we don't know yet. It will be built and leased to a tenant. So we think that there's a market for more commercial development in Laverne, and particularly in this location, because you have a very high density development right across the streets. The gentleman spoke before me just referenced. And then there's a good bit of traffic in this area, so we think the commercial development makes sense along Sand Hill Road, and the single-family residential behind it then would be similar to the other developments adjacent on each side and to the rear. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on this specific ordinance? Please state your name and address for the record.
Matt Church, 1527 Waxman Drive. The number of children that live in the area, certified census, they get off the school bus is 1,125. 1,125 children get off the school bus through the 24-hour period there that the schools run, whether it be morning or afternoon. I understand Mr. Wumble was talking about putting in sidewalks, which is great. So before we discuss the rezoning of this property, wouldn't it be best for the city to get caught up with the infrastructure on Sand Hill Road? Because I came to a meeting here about 10 years ago on a rezoning, and we built a lot of condos there. And I believe the sidewalks were brought up then, and they're still not there. It was a different administration during that time. So if you'll consider the livelihood of the of the children, the future voters of Laverne, and the safety of the seniors, the Darden family, a lot of the family that's lived there for years, have sold property to enhance the city. So I think this one time, because these families have lived along Sand Hill way longer than the city was incorporated. So I would think we would consider their values and their needs, because generation after generation after generation has lived there. And we're in a dire need for commercial property. But we have a lot of commercial property that's wide open. And the dollar store has increased the traffic from Fergus Road. We brought traffic from Fergus Road to Sand Hill Road. We've brought traffic from Dick Buchanan to Sand Hill Road. We brought traffic from Lake Forest Estates, Tom Haley Boulevard, everything to Sand Hill Road to go to the dollar store. So we've enhanced the amount of cars that travel that road on a daily basis. And the last certified census on the cars was 5,500 cars a day. 5,500, and the fire department can support these numbers. 5,500 cars a day drive up and down Fergus Road. And I got that information from the city of Laverne. So you take 5,500 cars that's already traveling down Fergus, going in and out of Clayton, or the old Clayton, the old Lake Forest, all the back part, and then you take another commercial piece of property and put on the same narrow road with the same S-curve. For years, engineers have looked at that S-curve. It's still there. There's a reason why it's still there. So before we make a vote on rezoning something, and I am for growth. I think the city is in dire need of commercial. But I also feel that the responsibility, not the developer, you can't blame the developer for growth. It's the board's job to look and make sure we have the infrastructure to support any growth that we have, whether it be homes, businesses, or anything. And if you would consider the kids, if you like, I can show you some videos of the kids walking down Sand Hill Road. 9 and 10-year-old kids get off the school bus and they walk down the curb. It's dangerous for an adult. We've had 5 bicycle incidents where bicycles have been hit by automobiles. Again, this came from the city of Laverne's documentation. This is what we have already on Sand Hill Road. We've had 5 people struck by cars on Sand Hill. And again, this is information that I received from the city. So if you would consider at least, I'm not saying block it, I'm saying let's take some responsibility and let's get the road where it needs to be. Let's put the sidewalks in. If the engineering firm, Mr. Womble and his people, are gonna put sidewalks in front of their partial, let's agree to tonight, if we're gonna rezone this, that we're gonna guarantee this community, we're gonna have sidewalks down Sand Hill Road. You know, I don't know why we can't do that. So if you would just consider that, this isn't a demand or an outrage. This is hardworking people that's came in here asking for your assistance. So, thanks.
Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else that would like to speak on this ordinance? On this rezoning request? Last chance, last opportunity to speak on ordinance 2016-08. Seeing no one approach, I'll declare the public hearing for that item closed. We'll move on to item number 2. Ordinance 2016-12, an ordinance to amend the City of Laverne zoning ordinance by changing the official zoning map for tax map 15M, Group F, Parcel 7, consisting of 2.28 acres, located at 5227 Murfreesboro Road, from a C1 Government Use Commercial Zoning District to a C2 Highway Service Commercial Zoning District. If anyone would like to speak on this specific ordinance, this is your opportunity. Please approach the podium and make your comment. Once again, this is the public hearing for ordinance 2016-12, located at 5227 Murfreesboro Road. Is there anyone here that would like to speak on this item? Seeing no one approach, I'll declare the public hearing closed for this item. Turn it back over to the mayor.
Seeing it's after 6:45, we'll just run right into citizens' comments. As mayor, it's my duty to enforce order. Officer Watson and Officer Wilson will be the sergeant of arms and will assist in maintaining order. By law, these wishing to speak during the citizen forum must limit their comments to no more than 3 minutes. You'll be advised when the 3 minutes have expired. If you continue to speak in excess of 3 minutes, you will be asked to stop speaking and leave the podium. If you fail to do so, you will be subject to being escorted out of the building by the sergeant of arms. For safety and security of all, no one is to approach the table where board members and city officials is seating without obtaining permission from me, that's the mayor. If you attempt to do so, you will be stopped by the sergeant of arms and will be subject to being escorted out of the building by the sergeant of arms. It is my sincere hope that everyone participating in the proceedings tonight will conduct themselves in a polite manner with respect shown to all regardless of the disagreement.
Thank you, Mayor. We do have 5 people that have signed up for the Citizens Forum. First on the list tonight is Frankie Sliger. You'll approach. You'll have 3 minutes to say whatever you would like.
Well, as y'all know, my name is Frankie Sliger, and I kind of missed the meeting the other night with being able to come up and talk. So just here to ask that the denial for the momentary for the baseball to be reconsidered under the circumstances that was given, the way it was drawn up, and said that I'm able to be looked at as a second chance, potentially to go by the guidelines given on the paper. I've talked to each and every one of you, some of you a little longer than others, about different things. I stand very firm with what I've said in the past. I'll do it again. Any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer. I'm not going to change my answer or my thought of thinking. To much degree, I have reconsidered some things to say, but I still stand firm with what I've said, how I've said it, and I'll stand by everything that I have said. As far as what's being asked of me, I've done everything to this point that has been asked based on the guidelines given. There is something going on with the way it's being presented and asked, so I'm just asking to each of you just to consider what you've got there and look forward to trying to figure something out with the way we need to move forward with this. That's all I have.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you, sir. Next on the list is Carolyn Buchanan. Carolyn Buchanan. Okay, we'll try to come back to that one. Next on the list is Clyde Herford.
Well, you know how this works, so I think I said what I needed to say about this one issue. I would like to say one more.
Sir, if you could approach the podium, that way everybody can hear that way.
I'm Clyde Herford, and like I said, I've been in the area forever. As you know, as the mayor knows, my family has too. We've seen Laverne grow from, just very meager to what it is now. If I had to look back, and I know that this body is new, in the government, most of them, is the zoning in the past seems to be a little bit not well thought out. For instance, you look at Dick Buchanan, look at the other side of Sand Hill, the industry that is connected with the residential, it just looks bad. Not only that, people have junkyards. It's supposed to have all that, a fence covering all that. It looks horrible in that area, and I would appeal to the government to please think a little bit before. I mean, we got a beautiful town. We want to keep it that way. Everybody, and we understand growth. We love growth. It's good. Walmart's wonderful. Dollar General's wonderful. But if you don't think about where things should be, our city is going to just look like trash. And none of our citizens want that. And we know you don't want that. So please think about that when we're zoning areas. And one thing I don't understand is we got all this growth. Where's the tax money for these sidewalks and things that should be here for the safety of our citizens? We got obviously they're paying taxes, but where's the money? Where's it been spent? Those are the kind of things that just irks me living here for forever. So I like to just, please, next time we consider these things, think about it.
Thank you, sir. Next on the list is William Turner. Okay. Next on the list is Matt Church.
Mayor, Alderman, thank you. I'm on the citizens' comments to speak about the employment agreement for the new assistant city manager. I do think he's a great guy, and I think he deserves the job. I just want to get that out of the way. He's going to be a great asset to the city from what he already has done. The problems I have, if you go back and look at the year 1999 in our city, the city paid a great amount of money to two former employees. One was the former police chief, which had an agreement with the city, Butch Morris, and one was the former city manager, Don Pickard. At this time, Bruce Richardson, our city manager, has a contract with a severance package if he was to be dismissed. I think we're asking for trouble if we continue to give these contracts. The city has spent hundreds of thousands of dollars with contracts that haven't really worked in our way. The Don Pickard situation was a disaster, and it cost the taxpayers money. Some of that wasteful spending, like this gentleman was just asking about sidewalks, that's where that money goes. Also, we have several department heads, fire, police, public works, codes, parks and rec. None of these individuals have contracts with the city. So I have a concern if we have the upper management, in my opinion, we're kind of discriminating on somebody. What you're saying is, if you're an employee of our city and you are at the upper management level, either the assistant administrator or the administrator, we're going to provide you some protection if you make a bad decision down the road and we let you go. But if you're a $12 an hour employee that cuts grass, we can let you go if you put the wrong election sign in your yard. I don't think that's fair at all. Please consider making this decision. On your agenda, you have you're voting for a vehicle for this gentleman before you even vote for his position. So I'm just going on your agenda. So you're kind of putting the cart before the horse again. And I really am trying to do things in a more professional way, as you guys have asked me to do in the past. So consider, if you give somebody an employment agreement, that's to protect the employee and the city. But the history shows the taxpayers lose both ways. That money it's not paid by insurance. It's not paid by lawsuits. It's a contractual agreement that comes out of our general budget. There's no special fund for it. So if we're going to have a $100,000 contract out there, I think we just need to look at that. Thanks.
Thank you, Matt. We'll go back to Carolyn Buchanan. Is she back in the room? Okay. That is all that I have on the list, Mayor.
Okay, we got about 3.5 minutes for 7 o'clock. We'll wait till 7 o'clock and start the meeting. Like I say, it's about 3 minutes now.